Ranch, Montana. I have with me today Hobie Hare.
Hi.
Welcome, Hobie, to Van Rollins.
Thank you, Celeste. Nice to be here.
Yeah. I just got to know Hobie the last couple of years. He came to me by way of a mutual friend who told me that this was a guy who had sort of some special talent in bringing people together with nature, which is something really important for me, obviously. I've spent much of my life in nature, and I consider it to be my church. It's something that's very important to me. I derive a lot of spiritual feelings from being out in nature. And I realize that not everybody has the great advantages that I do in living in a place where I can step outside my door and be surrounded by wild things. So I've asked Hobie to come and to get acquainted with our community because I think he has something really special to offer. And we're going to start with some seasonal celebrations. And as you know, we are at very close to the spring equinox. Many of you understand that I lived in Alaska for many years, and let me tell you, the changing of the Earth's tilt toward the sun is ever more important the farther north you go, or the farther south you go in the southern hemisphere, because the difference between summer and winter is extreme. From 24-hour daylight to 24-hour dark. So we in Alaska would count the minutes along with the weather report. They would tell you how many minutes each day you either gained or lost daylight. And it was during my Alaska period that I became really attuned to the changing of the seasons. So Hobie is going to come and help us think about the changing of the seasons and what it means to each of us. I really enjoy the way Hobie's byline has really captured my attention. Whenever he writes an email, he says, connecting with nature no matter where your feet are. Can you explain that a little bit?
Certainly. Well, it's the idea that you don't really have to live in a place like Montana or Alaska or some wild rural area, that you can develop the skills and have the commitment to connect with nature where you are. And it might be having flowers in your window. It might just be having a stone garden. It might be being able to plant a bird feeder. But the idea is that you feel a little bit of nature, even if you live in Manhattan, in New York City, or Tokyo, Japan. Mm-hmm. And there's things that people can do that could become rituals and rhythms for them to enjoy nature where they are. Mm-hmm. And it doesn't have to be expensive. It doesn't have to be laborious. It can just be really quick and fun and really rejuvenate.
Mm-hmm. So, going a little deeper, sure. What, for example, do you ask people to do in their daily life that would enable them to connect more closely to what nature they do have around?
Certainly. Usually when I'm working with clients, I'm asking them to basically give me an inventory about what's in their neighborhood, what's within, say, a 20-minute drive, or on the weekend, say, an hour walk or an hour's drive. So we can kind of do things on a daily basis that make sense given their schedule, and also do longer things, more deeper things on the weekends, and maybe once a month. But it could just be thinking about sites that maybe they haven't gone to for a while and discovering new ways to experience that. I had a client who now lives in North Carolina, and she lived in the Arlington and Washington, D.C. area, and we would have her visiting parks that she'd been to most of her life, but really doing things very differently. Just seeing in a different way because she was really developing her senses.
Oh, seeing in a different way. I like that. I have, my father-in-law was a physicist, and I loved traveling with him because he helped me see in a different way. And I've also, late in life, discovered the joy of traveling with a camera because the camera makes me see things in a little different way. And so what can people do to help themselves get out of their usual way and just walk past things, and begin to see things deeper? Mm-hmm.
I would say every day there's something changing, something that is a little bit different. It might be that length of day, either increasing or decreasing. It might be the cloud cover coming in like here right now. But just to shake things up, maybe to get outside at a different time of day. And it could be today you're sitting and just hanging out and you've got your eyes closed and you're observing and noticing things. Or it could be a matter of you do your favorite walk in reverse. I'm not saying walk backwards. I'm saying that just start it in the opposite direction and end up, and just see what you can see differently. And other things could be just hanging out, and maybe today you're just going to say, I'm going to really try to notice all the different smells out there. Or I'm going to try to notice all the different sounds. Or even better, I'm going to leave my cell phone at home. I'm going to turn it off. I'm not going to text when I'm walking. So reducing that urge to multitask and focusing on different senses is really powerful.
Being present. You know, just the idea of focusing like on sounds or smells really resonates to me. When I lived in South America, my father was quite ill. And, you know, over in the distance in the 70s, I couldn't call home, and there certainly wasn't any texting or Facebooking or any of that kind of thing going on. So I wrote him a letter every week. I said I made myself a commitment that I would write him a letter once a week. And I quickly ran out of topics. So I had to make myself make up topics. And I remember one topic that I made up was the sounds of Santiago. And it was so much fun for me, just having that mental frame of going out into a city that I already lived in and had been living in for quite some time, and to really become acutely aware of the sounds and really try to ferret out what was different from the sounds in an American city. And I assume that's the kind of thing that you're talking about, you know, going in and being really aware, really kind of looking for the differences.
Yes, and then being able to journal about it or write about it or share it or archive it. Not always, but sometimes, you know, it's almost like this personal gift for you that you just want to keep to inspire you. But it could be something you want to share. Multimedia, art, doesn't matter. But ironically, I think the best way to get connected with nature is to definitely have some spontaneity, but also to schedule it. Because if you don't schedule our self-care, especially nature connection, it just falls right off the burner of things to do in life, and you never get around to it. So I let people schedule it and then honor their commitment.
Schedule it. Good. And then you're not talking about something that has to be a big thing either, are you? You're talking about a small piece of time that you sort of devote to being present with the nature that is around you. It could be something, I assume, as simple as if you're in a high-rise apartment, looking up and really feeling and noticing the sky. Is that something that people...
Or during, you know, nicer days or evenings, going outside after dinner for 15, 20 minutes, or having dinner on your balcony if you can, and just enjoying the plants and the trees that you have right there. Or hanging out with your cat or your dog. That's part of nature connection, too. The idea is that you build in time where really you have no ambitions, you have no goals. It's just you time, and nature will help you relax, lower your blood pressure. There's so many scientific studies that show how good nature is for us if we just let it come to us.
Another thing I liked on your blog was somewhere in there, I don't exactly know where, it said, don't just do anything, sit.
Yeah, don't just do something, sit there, yeah.
Yeah. And so it's doing that. It's doing nothing. It's really doing nothing. Not letting your mind take you away to someplace.
Yeah, not doing through something to get to that next thing on your list.
Right.
Absolutely.
That's hard to do. You have to do. You're right. You do have to think about that and force yourself at some point to say, okay, I'm consciously going to do this. It's not something that necessarily comes unconsciously.
Yeah, it's a matter of saying yes to yourself and sometimes saying no to other people. So it is a little bit about being selfish, but really it's self-care. And without that self-care, how can you take care of your other things like people you serve for your work, or your community, or your house of faith, or whatever it might be?
Yeah. So what's that? Hello?
The phone?
Yes?
Next to you, it might be easier for us to hear.
So we should pick it up?
And pass it around?
I think so. It's some garble sometimes.
Okay. So can people hear me better now?
That's good. Let's see. Just toss it back and forth and see how that goes.
Okay. Yeah, we're happy to do that. So I was thinking that maybe we could do something as a group right here today. Okay. One of the talk on the chat has been today that somebody in Missouri saw an osprey, which, of course, to our internet community, 12 of us who are gathered here, is really an important, wonderful sign of spring. But maybe we could ask the chatters to chat about something that's important in your own world that's a sign of spring. And maybe we could start with you. What's an important sign of spring to you each year?
Well, I like the osprey coming back, and there's going to be more and more of them in the next several weeks. I love the red-winged blackbirds that we can hear behind us right now.
Yes.
Also, there'll be other blackbirds coming through. I love the meadowlarks, and I just like the greening up of the grasses. And it depends on the year, but for example, there's snow on some of the mountains near us, and the snow levels might keep rising a little bit and dropping back down. But by June, usually, the only snow will be up at low peaks. So I just love watching those turn beautifully green while there's snow-capped peaks in the background. And I just love the longer days.
One of the things that I do is take a walk the same way every day. And by the way, tomorrow I'll do it backwards. Yeah, although that's kind of hard to do because I have a starting place here, but I'll try to do it backwards. All right? But one of the things I like about a daily routine with nature is I do see the small changes that happen. And springtime, one of the first things that I notice about spring is when the ground thaws and the water comes up in the riparian area. And it starts to get really moist, and places that I've been walking all winter now become kind of squishy, a little bit soft. And I start hearing and seeing a lot more activity with the ducks and the geese. It's that water seems to come back in its fullness in the springtime. So let's think about what it is that brings us together in terms of celebrating spring. It seems that every culture and every way has some sort of commemoration of equinoxes and the changing of the seasons, May Day, and things of that nature. And, what kinds of rituals do you have in your life that you do at a springtime? Is it a springtime cleaning? Is it a springtime? What activities do you engage yourself with?
Sure. Well, after getting my taxes done, I have a lot more time to do these things, but a lot of it is just getting out on a regular basis. We do have favorite walks in our family where we like to go down to the river, or go to the woods of Rattlesnake, which is the drainage to our north, and go to other places and just to watch for those signs of spring, and just to be able to share that's pretty exciting. Yesterday I had a client on my local nature discovery walk, and we went out to Waterwork Ship, and we saw our first bluebirds together in the season, and that was just fantastic. Just the excitement of seeing a species that spends the winter somewhere else that's come back, and it's just exciting to notice who's coming back, who's establishing territory, who's fighting over mates, who's starting a family, what's next. Every day there's something to look forward to. Very exciting.
Yeah. One of the things about living and working on a ranch is the cycles of the seasons really dictate the kind of work that you do. And today my husband harrowed one of our pastures because it was now dry enough and the grass is starting to green up. And it seems like every season sort of dictates its own set of chores that needs to be done in preparation for it. Mostly, of course, in the spring is to encourage that spring growth. And a lot of our work revolves around that. And we also start opening up our ranch to visitors. We have our spring pony club. We bring our horses back from the wintering field back to where they're close at hand, and they have to sort of transition into that season of work. For our horses, summer and spring and fall are the seasons of work, and winter is the season of rest. So
we have some things that people wanted to share about their signs of spring.
That's great. Would you like to say them?
So Steve Bond has said the trees budding out with new leaves and daffodils blooming.
Yes.
Lynn mentioned new growth of everything, trees, animals, birds. She also mentioned the baby calves dancing in the fields next door.
Yes. Yes.
Lady mentioned the first robin and the rest of the birds coming back. And, of course, the crocuses blooming.
All wonderful signs of spring. That's wonderful. Thank you for sharing.
Did you want to
Are you
Yeah, and what's really nice about being here in Montana is we're along a major flyway for a lot of bird migrations. And it was exciting when Suzanne shared with me earlier today that an osprey had been sighted on the Clark Fork River to our north, and that just means that they should be here any time. And so please keep looking at the webcam here at Van Raven and see when our first ospreys arrive for the year. And when Hare comes back, I think a lot of you guys know her. She had a mate that was killed last year by a bald eagle, and hoping she'll come back and make a home and find a mate and start the circle of life all over again.
Yes, indeed. That is the excitement here for sure. Well, Hobie, I really appreciate your coming, and I will put a recording of this up on our website with also some links to some other material that Hobie has. And we are hopeful of getting you more involved in our community as a chatter. And, Hobie works with people throughout the year to take them into some beautiful places in Montana, to show them some of nature's wonders and to connect people. And perhaps you could stay connected to us, to call in on occasion, send some photos on occasion, and kind of, share with us your deeper thoughts about nature and help us make those kinds of connections.
Certainly, I'd love to. I'd just like to say, too, that no matter where you live, you can connect with nature. And sometimes it is like a lost art or a skill, but everybody's got it in them. I just help you draw that out of yourself and make it a habit. And I do it whether we're working together at Van Raven or working with individual clients who might live far away, like New England or North Carolina. And local nature walks guided towards the Yellowstone, meditations and stuff. There's so many things we can be doing to connect with nature. And technology, believe it or not, is a really wonderful gift to help us do that. And thank you, Suzanne.
Thank you, Hobie. And happy spring to everyone. Thank you so much for joining us.
See you next time.
See you next time. Thank you, Jamie.